Hi, and welcome back to Three and Out with Chris Spielman. I'm Mike O'Hara, and once again, we're brought to you by Comerica. And Chris Spielman, this is getting to be a rut, and a deep rut for the Detroit Lions. Got even deeper on Sunday, a 27 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. That's 6 straight losses. The Lions have now won only 3 games, 9 losses and a tie. And you know, Chris, at this time of the year, with losses comes speculation. With speculation comes noise and talk. And a lot of it centers on the job security of head coach Matt Patricia. You did the game for the Fox Network, and you had some pretty strong things to say about Coach Patricia. Could you share them with our fans here in Detroit?
Well, it's actually with Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. I think speculation is on both of those guys. And look, my clock for Bob Quinn starts when he hired Matt Patricia. I think those two guys are married, as they say in the business. And for me, I do think you're trying to remake a roster, and I think that 3 years is a fair evaluation. And why do I say that? Well, look at the San Francisco 49ers, Mike. The first year with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they were 6-10. The second year, they were 4-12, and now this year they're 11-2. So I do think 3 years is the proper barometer to make that measurement. I think Matt understands the game, and I think Bob understands the game. They understand it's a results-oriented business. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to, be a team that's a physical football team, a running football team. They're trying to build their roster that way, as opposed to under Coach Caldwell, where the philosophy was to air it out and Matthew go throw it 45 times and win a game. It's just it's a different deal. So for me, I think the right move is to see how it goes for 3 years. The alternative move is to burn it down and start again. Then if you're going to do that, are you going to give that guy in that regime 1 year or 2 years? So I think 3 years is a fair barometer, and we'll see what the decisions are made at the end of the season.
Okay, and so on we move, and we're going to go 3 and out here. We're going to start in the first quarter on the second possession by the Minnesota Vikings. Here's a 9-yard touchdown pass to Beezy Johnson from Kirk Cousins. Chris, break it down. Go 3 and out. Tell us what you see on this.
Well, Amani Oruwariye is going to have man coverage right here, and the protection for Minnesota was pretty solid all day. And you're going to take a look. This is a time where we have man protection. They're trying to bring 3 guys to get pressure. They were not being able to get pressure with 3 guys. You got everybody underneath helping in some type of man coverage. And you look at Amani right there. He gets caught looking back at the quarterback. And look, Mike, it's been my belief in playing any type of coverage, or what I would teach is you do not look back at the quarterback until the very last second, because as soon as you look back at the quarterback too early, that wide receiver will start pulling away from you. And actually, that was probably not the best thrown ball that Kirk Cousins had. But Johnson, who's a 7th-round pick out of Colorado State, goes up and makes a great catch and got his opportunity to play, Mike, when Adam Thielen went down. So it's an well-executed play by the Vikings. It starts with the protection, and no pass rush was generated by the Lions, but they only brought 3 guys.
Well, Chris Spielman, that makes it 7-0, and a field goal later makes it 10-0. We're going to go deep into the second quarter here. And there's a couple of plays here that really changed the tenor of this game. We're going to start. The Detroit Lions have the ball, 3rd and 2 at the 15, down 10-0. Break it down. Tell us what you see on this sack.
I'm going to tell you what I see, and I think this is a great coaching point for David Blough. All right, you have the ball. You're going to start scrambling to your left. It's 3rd and 2. You're going to get pressure. Vikings do a pretty decent job of covering, and you have Danielle Hunter. Everybody's covered, so Blough is going to scramble to his left. There's nowhere to throw the football. You have to throw that ball out of bounds. Why? Because if you throw the ball out of bounds, you then would have a 32-yard field goal. Okay? Now, by taking a sack, which you cannot do in that situation, you back it up, in which becomes a 45-yard field goal. If Prater kicked that ball from 32 yards, that would have put 3 points on the board for the Lions. The fact that Blough takes his sack makes it a 45-yarder. The ball took a weird spin off Prater's foot, and they lose 3 points. That's a rookie mistake. That's a mental mistake. And that's one that hopefully David will grow from and learn from. And I'm sure Coach Patricia and Matthew and whoever else was over there, Daryl, addressed that. This is a mental error, and that's an issue that's been with the Lions all year. It's been plaguing them, as there's mental errors or self-inflicted wounds.
Well, there's just a chain of bad things. The sack is bad. The missed field goal is bad. And can it get worse? Yes, it can. We've got in the last 37 seconds here, a 44-yard pass to Stephon Diggs with Darius Slay in coverage. Break it down. Go 3 and out. Tell us what you see on this one.
Well, I see cover one. That's one safety deep. You're playing man across the board. You got your best cover corner on their best wide receiver as far as going deep. A couple things on this. First of all, again, there's time to step up and throw the ball. There's a nice clean pocket for Kirk Cousins. And you can see anytime you can have a mascot or green in front of the guard center guard, they build a nice wall, gives him time to step into the throw. The coverage is really good by Darius. The problem is a really good throw and a really good catch will beat really good coverage every single time. Mike, the one thing that I think you could do different here if you're Detroit is with 37 seconds left, I think you can be in some type of zone coverage to avoid this. What offenses want with 37 seconds left and you're at midfield, they're screaming for you and begging for you to play man coverage. That's exactly what the Lions did. They gave the Vikings that opportunity just by the pre-snap and coverage alone by playing one high, and they trusted Diggs would beat Slay, and it worked out for them. The more conservative, safer route would have been to be a 2-deep zone, corners playing off, you have safety over the top, and you would concede an underneath route. Now, if you ask Matt Patricia, his answer said, well, we didn't want to concede 3 points there, and I certainly understand that. But I also understand I'd rather concede 3 than to give up 7, in which they ended up doing, yeah.
Well, that sets up really, like you said, 2 plays later, Dalvin Cook runs it in from 3 yards. That makes it 17-0 and really changes the game because the Detroit Lions at this stage are really not equipped to make big comebacks. But let's move along to the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth quarter, why keep playing? Well, you ask Kenny Golladay why keep playing. It's 4th and 10 at the 10-yard line, down 20-0. Here's a touchdown pass to Kenny Golladay, his 10th touchdown of the season. Break it down, Chris Spielman. Go 3 and out. Tell us what you see on this.
Kenny just continues to get better and better, and I just love the way the guy competes. Now, they're going to get Kenny Golladay matched up on Trey Waynes, so there's a size difference right there. Trey Waynes has inside leverage where I think Trey is trying to get outside. Why is he trying to get outside? You see number 41, Anthony Harris, playing in the middle. Trey loses that outside leverage because that's where his help would have been, and this ball is beautifully thrown away from the coverage by David Blough. He sees Trey Waynes inside. So what you do is you throw your wide receiver open by throwing him away from the defender, and it's just a great midair adjustment by Kenny Golladay. He uses that big body, and he's so strong on his routes, and it's a great catch in a good positive for the Lions to get on the board. But well executed. Protection was really solid up front also.
Well, that closes out. It makes it 20-7. But Chris Spielman, that does not close the noise. And before we wrap it up, back in your day, I think there wasn't quite as much social media. How, as a young player right now or a veteran, how do you close out all the noise of what's going on with your team?
Well, I mean, that's a challenge I think that everybody faces from the management on down to the players. I mean, you got to believe who you are and what you're doing. And somebody on Twitter, in fact, asked me, do you think, and it was a legitimate question, do you think that this team should tank for a better draft pick? And I understand that mentality, but I would say this. It means something to the players to win. It means something to coaches to win. And if anybody would knowingly ever tank a game in the NFL or tank a season in the NFL, then I would be the biggest proponent for a lifetime ban. In fact, I wouldn't even let them watch the NFL, because I think that's so disrespectful to everybody that's playing hard and working hard. And more importantly, it's disrespectful to the game that you've been around for a lot of years, and the game that I've been around for a lot of years, and a game that a lot of people love.
Well, I'll take you at your word, and I'll keep my remote, and I'll hide it from you.
Yeah, I want you to be able to watch it, yes.
Okay. That's a wrap for this week. Sunday at Ford Field, kickoff 1 o'clock, Lions versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers.